Good morning from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It's 8:45 a.m. on the 8th of August 2023. I woke up at 8:35, so 10 minutes ago. Threw on some clothes, made myself a cup of tea. And the very first thought, a powerful thought, absolute truism that I had when I bounced out of my bed this morning was the reason that people have been so awful to you in recent months is because you are dying. And I have fought death a multitude of times since early childhood. So I've been fighting. Even up until Beauregard's death on the 1st of August. I fought a long, hard battle. And the response to my grieving his death, I did a very typical thing. I didn't go out on Friday night because I was just still so gutted I could not have. But I went out Saturday night and, there was the usual sadism on display. So I walked out of the Treasury Casino and I will never go back. I've forgiven them quite a few times over the years because human beings don't understand me and I don't function like them and I don't live in their world, they live in mine. And I don't say that like out of narcissism or out of any narcissistic tendencies. I've just been fully conscious for decades that I don't exist in this world alongside other humans, and I don't function in the same way that they do. And when there's a crisis in my life, instead of being treated with tenderness and compassion and gentleness, other humans pile on in the most cruel and venal ways. And the spiritual purpose of that, I suppose, has made me what I term a warrior goddess. Again, that sounds narcissistic. It's not my intention. But I have had to fight for my human rights and for my spirit and for my femaleness since childhood. So I woke up this morning, leapt out of bed. I'm going to the hairdresser today. You can see my hair's oily and it's really needs doing. And I can't really afford it, but I haven't been able to afford it for the last couple of years. And I've been fighting to keep myself looking a little bit, attractive, keep my hair done at least. I've even been fighting for that for a couple of years. Knowing that I'm descending into older age and that I'm celibate and I live alone and, you become invisible and you become unwanted merely because of your aging. And also because of the absolute terror that ordinary mortals feel when they're surrounded by someone that instinctively they know is dying. And I almost have to laugh because for someone who's been dying, I've been actively dying now, since the gallbladder surgery in 2019. So that's, 4 years. I've been actively, consciously walking with Lady Death beside me, knowing that my time is precious and that I had very little time left to achieve the few things I wanted to achieve. One of them, well, that was vanity, wasn't it? Vanity, vanity, all is vanity. But one of the things I wanted to achieve before I died was a truly loving, sincere, authentic, genuine, life partnership, sexual partnership. And again, the gods withheld that, and in fact, in a very sadistic way, teased me with that for quite some years till I actually gave up. I gave up on finding love in about the last 12 months, because I think deep down I knew there's no point now. I'm running out of time. Now, I'm making this video and I'm saying that I'm running out of time, and I'm literally accepting and welcoming Lady Death. I'm no longer fighting her. I'm no longer pirouetting her off into the distance and nodding from behind the curtain, and with full knowledge that she'll be back, because losing my dog in the way that I did was just one thing too much. But I made both my pets a promise, you can hear Charlie in the background, that I would not leave them. I brought them into my life to be nurtured and cared for until the day they died. And I fulfilled that duty and honour with my beautiful Beauregard. And I will strive to, I don't know why I'm crying, because actually death would be such a relief and a release, I think I got a bit distressed because I've been working very hard at collating all my journal that goes into Facebook, into the archives of Facebook. I've been extracting all my journaling and putting it into vocal media, wanting to leave a bit of a legacy behind. And it's not much of a legacy, it's just me whining about my shitty life and the fact that no one ever stepped up to the mark to claim me as their partner. And, my daughter's hardly ever present in my life now. My younger one has been estranged now for many years. So what is my legacy that I'm leaving behind? Nothing but grief and sorrow and trauma. But I wrote quite honestly in it about the good, the bad and the indifferent. And sometimes there were funny little stories of conversations I had with people in my dance space, with drunks mostly, because they're mostly drunk. And some profound conversations I had, like old Richie, who pointed the bone at me in 2019, just prior to my surgery, that I didn't even know had been booked in. It got booked in very suddenly and unexpectedly, and even that came as a bit of a shock after having dragged it out for 3 years of me writhing in agony and having quite serious gall attacks. They suddenly, organised the surgery, and I did come close to dying after that surgery. So old Richie had already pointed the bone and said he was getting, he said that I stunk of death, of the sweet smell of death. I said, don't be stupid, that's my Volupte perfume, it's floral. And And it is a pretty perfume. I love it. I still wear it. If someone thinks I smell of death, well, fuck them. I smell of flowers. But it's all open to interpretation. And he himself was a leukemia survivor, and he said he knew the stink of death so well. So he really planted that into my seed. It planted that seed into my brain that I was going to die. And I did almost die after that surgery. That even he was shocked, because it literally happened only weeks, days after he said that. And I came back still wounded from the drain site, still raw, still in agony, 3 weeks later after that surgery, to tell him to stock up on his wild turkey libations. He promised to throw a big party when I die and pour libations in honour of my fierce warrior goddess spirit. I said, you better get busy, boy, because I'm back. And even he said, you're the strongest woman I've ever met in my life, Tanya. And I am. I'm a very strong, powerful spirit, and no one should fuck with me. And yet, now my time is... Death is circling me like the albatross that she is. They chose this time when I was vulnerable, with a dead dog, in grief, to kick me when I was down, right? Because they're malevolent, lackluster, low-life scum curs. And don't worry, I might be finally accepting that death is imminent for me. I'm finally embracing her with gratitude and with peace and with a circumspect equanimity. But they should not have done that to me. It was vicious and uncalled for. All I wanted to do is sit in my little spot in the corner and dance for the bands. And they tell me that I've been rude for the last 12 years. It didn't occur to them that I was actually, voluntarily contributing my energy to that dance space as a healing for not just my own aging self, but for others that came to me on that floor that needed a healing. So my intentions have been dishonoured and sullied by narcissists and sociopaths that tell me that the new casino venue is 5-star and they don't want my type there. And I knew that when they got rid of my friend Seagal. I knew they were getting rid of the oddballs. And because of my fierce warrior goddess stance, because I watch and I observe, even in my trance states when I reach my peak in the dance after 3-4 hours of dancing, I was still very highly conscious of what was going on that floor. So they got rid of the truth tellers and the truth speakers and people with courage and integrity and honour. And I'm okay with that. I don't need them. I don't need them. I knew it was a toxic space and had always been a toxic space, and probably it's partly why I'm dying. If I had spent that 12 years poured into something that was more life-affirming, like, I don't know, travelling or actually writing my book instead of just doing little vignettes on Facebook for people to gloat over, I don't know, maybe I'd still be thriving and blossoming out. But I'm fully conscious I had a last renaissance in the last couple of years, and part of that was I was fighting against the COVID epoch and that debauched evil. And now I'm done. I'm done fighting for other humans who don't even treat me with a scrap of respect and kick me when I'm down, when I'm grieving my beautiful dog. Vicious it is. And don't worry, I left with great dignity, but my rage will be heard in all echelons, in all dimensions. Ultimately, thought about it this morning, the way the regulars were looking at me in recent months, because they would have known that I was going to be the next to go, because they all gossip amongst themselves, because they're vicious parasites. And the majority are probably all infested with Mother Hydra's babies too, worming into their brain, telling them delusional things about me that aren't real. You know, there is that. They're probably listening to some evil entity because they invited it into their body and quite willingly. And now they're angry. So I'm perceived to be a threat because I smell different. I smell not of cancer, but of my own pristine, earthy, untainted state. So that's the other reason why they've been turning vicious in recent months. The fear of one who is wise and powerful and still pristine. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a kookaburra outside my window, just under that tree. Can you see it? He's beautiful. He's a beautiful boy or girl. So I'm making this video for YouTube, not to depress anyone, but to let you know I'm fully conscious and aware that my time on this earth is limited now. And I've been conscious and aware of that for decades. But I fought back from the last bad, chest infection that wasn't COVID. Still haven't had COVID. Isn't that weird, given that how weak my lungs are? I fought back valiantly, and with the help of, I think it was Jim that contacted me and said you need to drink mullein tea. That kept my lungs going for another 12 months. So I've done well by the grace of the gods and by the grace of strangers on the internet that saw my struggles and saw how ill I was and saw that I was being withheld proper medical treatment by this monstrous government. And anyway, I wouldn't have trusted them at that time. They have proven untrustworthy. They actually killed people with the ventilators, with the COVID. They murdered people quite willingly and gave them midazoline and barbiturates in the old people's home. So, but I've had a penny drop this morning. I've had a penny drop. I'm dying. I am dying. I don't know how long I've got, maybe 12 months, maybe 2 years if I'm lucky. I don't know, because I don't really know what's wrong with me other than I'm aging and I'm vulnerable and I'm alone and I'm isolated. And the Treasury Casino further isolating me from my dance space, which was my only bit of, joy going out with music and exercise and interacting with some people that I liked, was a deliberate targeting of me. And it's not the end of the world. I mean, I can go to other clubs and dance there. I mean, I'm a free entity. I don't have to give up dancing. But I just feel like that was a deliberately aimed thing. It was vile beyond belief. I've actually done no harm to anyone except maintain my little corner of the bar there where I dance. So anyway, they've played their sadistic, perverted, evil game before, and I went away for, I think it was 6 months that time, and virtually, people, acquaintances, so-called friends begged me to come back. So, but that won't happen this time, because they're wanting it to be all for the young and the very wealthy and, the rich and the famous, and it's actually laughable because it's just laughable. The young that came that were, that they thought would be so precious and elitist would turn up without panties and expose their vaginas. So they're hardly going to have a classy establishment even in the new building. I was the class that was there that protected and defended the young girls, even the ones that didn't wear knickers that I thought were just crass. I still protected her because I'm a woman and I'm a mother and I'm a shaman and I'm a warrior goddess, and that's what I do. I will even protect someone that I think is crass if push came to shove, which it did. And they know that, the Treasury Casino management. They watch everything on CCTV. They know damn well that there were many times that I was actually basically doing their job for them on the floor. It wasn't my job. It wasn't my job to have all that stress when I was already unwell. So fuck you. Dogs. Absolute dogs. And I'm talking about the management, because it came from the management, those orders to get rid of me. So, little Amy, someone's little girl, vicious beyond belief. I did nothing to her but hold my ground. So, anyway, at the end of the day now, I was thinking about it in recent months. Even my cleaning lady said to me last week when I was telling her about my dog dying, she was quite distressed. I said to her, the last few weeks I've been craving travelling to all the sacred sites across the world, which is an impossibility since I don't have money, right? And I said, and instead of that, I ended up in debt $1,000 to venal vets that were actually awful and tortured my dog, leaving him alone all day. With 3 days, they left him without pain relief. They only gave him pain relief for the ultrasound to sedate him because he was, they deemed him aggressive and bitey and whatever. Of course he would have been, because he would have been terrified, ripped away from his human mother, and then they're not caring a fuck about him, just treating him like a dog. No compassion when it came to our time of need. No. All they wanted was more and more money, and even screamed in my face, "Are you going to pay the ultrasound?" I said, I've signed for it, I've incurred that debt, of course I'm going to pay. The viciousness beyond belief. Another place I hope gets shut down, but it won't. It won't, because this government protects evil, sponsors evil, funds billions of dollars into evil, builds entire new buildings for it, so they can energy harvest from all the sweet innocent people who think they're going to have a nice time, but are actually being vilified and tormented and stripped away, and then marginalised and isolated when we're vulnerable and ill with our dead dogs. That's what they're about up there. They only want your money and large chunks of your soul if you're stupid enough to cede it to them. So don't support it. I knew something was very wrong when my one friend that was there was acting very strange and making excuses and hadn't really been there in the last month. But she was there on Friday night to gloat. They were gloating. And I've been in denial about that they were actually gloating, that they knew that I would, because they know I'll leave, because I've got integrity and I've got dignity and I've got honour. They knew I would stand on my dignity and leave. They knew it. They knew which buttons to push, telling me I wasn't good enough for a 5-star establishment. After I protected all the younger women there, and women my age too, and even in my time I protected some of the men that were in danger. But I have to go. I have to go because I've seen and I know too much, and I'm a threat because I'm wild and I'm free, and I won't let anybody bully me because I had a lifetime of that. So anyway, Spirit tells me, my own spirit tells me this morning as I wake up, the reason why they have been piling on and attacking you and psychic attacking you as well as the physical, emotional nastiness, the games and the avoidance, is because people fear death, and they have seen that you're walking that line. So instead of sweetness and kindness and tenderness and compassion, I have been treated with contempt and disdain, with othering and with marginalisation. So I'm making this video because I'm well aware of it. I'm calling you out on your evil, and there's nothing I can do about it. You were always evil, and you will always be evil, and that's who you are. Humans. When push comes to shove, and there should have been love and light in my life and joy, I'm almost speechless. But I'm grateful for my true friends who came to me in my time of need, who love me, and I'm grateful for the happiness that I manifested and manufactured from my very own body, mind and spirit in recent years. I fought hard. I fought against, intrafamilial incest and major depression and complex PTSD. I fought hard to give myself a peaceful, happy, joyful life. And I fought hard to dance with my anxiety, with my phobias, under constant attack. I fought hard for that dance. So when my time does come, and I don't know when it's coming, but I sense it soon, maybe could be weeks, could be months, could be the next few years, I don't know, but I sense it's coming soon now. I want you to remember that about me. My fight, my truth-telling in a world that is built on deception and lies and treachery and criminality and genocide. I want you to remember, I fought for the truth every millimetre of every inch of the way. I fought hard to have my truth honoured and to bear witness to a dying civilization and to gift hope to the hopeless and remind them that of what I personally have survived in my lifetime was against the odds. And so the sacred spaces are indeed calling me. As Rati pointed out, you want to go home. And that's true. They were calling me before Beauregard died, the week before, very powerfully. And she's right. She's wise and she's spiritual. I want to go home. I want to go to a space where I'm loved, where I'm respected, where I'm safe, where I'm treated with honour and integrity and genuine care. And that place is not in this 3D reality on planet Earth and never has been, even though I always hoped that it would manifest one day. I can see it's never going to happen now. It's too little too late. So all I can hope for is to enter the next dimension. Just checking my time on my microwave clock. And that there is a place like that for me, a space for me, where I am deeply, truly loved and honoured and, free and safe. When I had the near-death experience 2019, I was told, we're sending you back to tie up loose ends, but it will be a hellscape of immense proportions, and that was not a lie. COVID came and humanity changed with this overnight. And I've been watching the devolution for the last 3 years, hoping against hope that by some miracle we will be able to build a better society out of this horror and make a safer place for our children and the ensuing generations. But no, it's terrifying what's going on. And I withdraw my consent to participate in it, which means I have to cede my own life eventually in the appropriate time. I'm not suicidal, ironically, but I'm aware that I'm older now and I've had bladder problems for quite some time now. My teeth hurt all the time, even the ones that were newly fixed hurt constantly. And I know they've been fixed by state-of-the-art equipment and a very good dentist, so the fact that they all three hurt every time I eat or drink tells me it's my nervous system is shot to pieces. And that cancer that Richie, I don't know his last name, but old Richie, the Vietnam vet, said that I reeked of, is probably why my bladder hasn't been right for over 6 months now. More than that, it's been the last couple of years it's been deteriorating, but the last 6 months have been intense. And even the ED doctor I saw when I presented to the QE2, who told me that my file is missing, tried to call me a liar that I even had surgery at that hospital. Wickedness beyond belief. Even he acknowledged, he said, you have an alien implanted in you, meaning the TVT tape, and there's really nothing we can do. So I knew then they were bone pointing at me, wishing me dead, because I dared to defy the COVID vaccines. If I'd had that COVID vaccine, I would have been dead 3 years ago, because I was already very ill, just barely recovering from the gallbladder surgery. And I wasn't stupid enough to put some unknown substance in my body that was already vulnerable and weak. So, at least when I die now, when I do die, it will be in a pristine state as much as possible, because my body's already been contaminated since 2007 by that TVT tape and the other vaccine I had in 2012. So that was the one that really, when I had the booster of that, the Hep B, I knew something had altered in my body permanently, and that I was weakened, and that I would probably never come back from that. I knew. So what was in that vaccine that could be so damaging to my liver and to my body, I don't know. But I knew there was something that changed. There was something in that had overloaded my liver, my system. And I did indeed begin to deteriorate from that time forth. So I have been systematically culled. And I know it. And you can call me a liar, and you can call me crazy, but any doctor worth his salt that goes through my medical records will be able to see the demarcation line where, although I had already struggled for many years because of the psych meds damaging my liver and my organs as well, 15 years of those, they will know the demarcation line where it tipped me over the edge. Physically, I mean, not mentally. Mentally, I've been better since I went off those meds in 2016. That was another warrior goddess stance, to have my mind back, because I knew I had very little time to get all my writings in order, all my journaling, and to witness what I had to witness. I didn't know what was coming, but I intuitively knew something was coming in 2016 when I went off those psych meds. As I told my psychiatrist, I will need to have my mind very clear and not be addled and not be munted down and, dulled down. And I was right. I kept my mind clear, and that kept me alive for the last 7 years now. I've done well. By myself, I have done well. So I'm off to the hairdresser to make myself look pretty, so that I can look at myself in the mirror and think, oh, there she is. There she is. The woman that fought against the odds, that I'm deeply proud of. in my time of horror and crisis, I've had to go through this alone. I mean, my beautiful friend Margot did come to visit me the next night after Bobo died, and Jared did come. And I did tell people I don't want to speak to anyone. But, I haven't seen my daughter since I went to her pre-show play. We have spoken on the phone, but I haven't seen her. No effort is made to comfort me in my grief, or to be with me, just to sit with me and be there for me. No real effort has been made on her part, and that's her normal behaviours, her normal behaviour patterning, So I'm not grieving about that. That's just her, how she deals with me as a person, as her mother. I'm still very tempted to sell my car, because if I get a few $1,000s for it, I don't know what it's worth right now, I'll probably get 5,000 or 6,000 of that. That can go towards my funeral. But on the other hand, I'm so tempted to sell that car and just fuck off, go on a nice holiday somewhere, knowing that it's the last chance I will ever have to have a holiday and have something nice happen in my life before I die. So there is that. It's very tempting. I'll have to think very hard about it over the next few days, because maybe, as I often do, when I reach the end, physically, mentally and spiritually, I've been known to do a little pirouette mid-air and pull myself up from the death spiralling, as I did last year, because I'm a very powerful, defiant, strong, loving woman who loves life. We all love life. We've all loved our lives. Even us depressives and complex PTSD ones, we're fought to have our lives, whatever remained of it, no matter how shredded, how ghastly, how tainted. We fought to have our joy and our dance and our art, our music, whatever it was that we were passionate about, right? We fought long and we fought hard. So I'll probably be fighting that dark angel that told me this morning that the reason why people have been so awful is they can see death in my aura and they fear it. And that's true. That is very true. That's exactly what's been going on. Exactly. So death is my mistress. Death is my friend. Death is my ally. When she comes, I pray she will be gentle with me. Let me have a gentle passage into the light. But I don't have any say in it. It was kind of completely awful when George said to me, better be careful, one of those homeless men, they're all psychotic and they're capable of stabbing you. That was how he was trying to drive me from the casino, right, a few weeks back. So they've all had a go. They've all had a go at scaring me off. And I don't scare easy. And I went out even after my dog died on Saturday night because I won't be bullied or intimidated. But the time has come to accept that I'm not wanted in that space, certainly not respected, certainly not honoured, and accept my own imminent demise with peace and with joy in my heart, because I've earned the privilege to bow out gracefully and joyfully, and with a deep reverence and love for my own spirit, because very few people were capable of gifting me even that. And I'm fully consciously aware of that also. So to my dead, unrequited, cruel lovers, I won't miss you from the other side. I won't be missing out on any of the love that should have been mine or could have been mine. I'll be immersed in the infinite light and the infinite love that is more powerful than death and eternal. And I'll probably be looking down at you, having the last little giggle, because you never really gave me a fair chance. And I know that, and you know that I deserved better than that. So, and my friends who have been loyal all the years, all the decades, they know that my love for them will never die, will never end. I'll take it with me, and I'll surround them with that love. Whenever they think of me, they'll know that I'm with them. And there's great beauty and power in that. But anyway, I better go. It's a lovely day. I'm going to spend some time with my Charlie, and then go off to the hairdresser and be all tussied up. And get on with the business of living each day as I have done for the last 58 years. Live each day as an art form and as a defiance against those who wanted me dead since early childhood. And we know who they are. Most of them have entered the light or the void. And those who still want me dead in this current time frame on the 8th of August 2023, more for you, even in death. Even in death, I defy you. Love is the law. Peace be upon us, and let love be the only law. Amen v'salah.